Greetings, and welcome to day 12 of the 31 Days of Tarot Challenge 2019. Today's topic has to do with imposter syndrome and whether you feel that you have ever suffered from it, experienced imposter syndrome when acting as a professional tarot reader. I was a little unsure of what this exactly meant, so I did some searching on the internet, found a very informative blog post that explained it as, perhaps maybe did you ever do a reading for someone and nothing that you have to say resonates with them? That was a point to consider. Or whether you feel that, do you ever feel that you're really not ready to become a tarot reader, a professional tarot reader? Okay, well, if that's the case, I want to clarify a little bit about what I think about that by saying that, number one, not everyone who is a tarot reader learns to read the tarot wants to do it professionally. Not everyone. We're sort of assuming that just because you're learning to read the cards, learning to interpret the cards, that you're someday going to become a professional tarot reader. That's number one. Maybe they don't want to. And number two, we are also assuming that everyone does have the ability to become a tarot reader. Okay? That all you have to do is learn the readings of the cards, either memorize, little keywords from the little white book that comes with the tarot deck, or, learn to interpret, images on the cards, learn to, see what kind of having emotions triggered from the cards, or relating to situations from the cards, whatever method you have of reading. Once that you learn to do that, you're ready to become a professional tarot reader. That's not true. I'm sorry. And if you think it is true, I really would like you to give it a little more thought. It does not have everything to do with the cards. Becoming a professional tarot reader has to do with so many more things. Not the least of is learning to be able to speak to people, learning to be able to read people, learning to be able to, a lot of people will come to you as a reader and they're not going to give you any information. They're not going to help you in any way. I sometimes wonder why you're even sitting here at the table with me. If you don't have any questions, if you don't have any problems, if you don't have anything, and nothing would relate to you, some people just close up and they're a little bit shy and they don't want to offer personal information. That makes it a little harder to be a reader. Doesn't mean you can't, but it does mean that not everyone can. Not everyone can read those kind of people. So you have to look at those kind of scenarios before you ever put out your sign and say, tarot readings available here, if you're not the kind of person who's able to do that. Okay. That's the first thing to consider. The second thing to consider with this idea of being an imposter or having an imposter syndrome is what kind of a reader are we talking about? Not just, amateur professional, but what kind of a reader are you? And I have to say to everyone, the way I answer this question has everything to do with what kind of a reader I am. I am not somebody who pretends to know things black and white answers to questions. Where I know a lot of people are, like psychic readers on the psychic hotlines. I've never called them, but from what I gather, from what I've gathered, people are going to ask me questions there, such as, should I leave my boyfriend? Should I, and that's really all they want to know. And how much information you're given. I tend to read from the way of, first of all, I'm going to lay out, if you have questions or you have issues that you want to know about, if you have like certain issues on on your mind, like maybe you're contemplating making a job change, or contemplating moving, or you know, maybe even in a relationship, contemplating a relationship. However, I do say I don't really like to do relationship readings involving a person that's not present. I want both people present if I'm going to do a relationship. You know, both people in on the reading is what I'm trying to say. So I'm reading the energies of the person who's made the contact with me and wants the reading done. That's who I'm reading. So I can only give really one side of the issue usually. But anyway, what I want to say is, when I'm going to do a reading, I will get, especially readings for, you know, people, like when I do these, you know, rapid fire readings in like for a some kind of a fundraising event or something like that, or a psychic fair, where I'm getting every 15 minutes somebody new sitting down at the table. You have to stay pretty focused, and you don't have a lot of time to go in to the reading and offer contemplative, you know, you don't have a lot of time to contemplate or look up their astrological signs or those kind of things. You don't get a lot. Some people are, you know, just there for curiosity. They really haven't given much thought to what their question might be. So with those kind of readings, I tend to I rely a lot on the person. You know, I lay out the cards. I say, okay, I'm gonna look at the energies that are around right now. What kind of energies that I'm looking at right now? I'm going to say, what kind of a what I might see as an issue that you might be wanting to deal with, and I will ask questions. If I see something to do with the relationship here, I might ask, are you having difficulties with a friend, or arguing with a coworker at work, or are you, you know, I might, if we're going down the wrong path, here's your opportunity to tell me that. I rely on, you know, for those kind of readings, I rely on input. These cards are not my cards, I say. These are your cards. This is your life. This is your life. It is not mine. So if what I am saying doesn't resonate with you, it's not my fault. It's your fault. It's your fault. You need to say what it is you're looking for. If you're saying, tell me what you're looking for, I can look at the cards in front of you, and I can interpret it. I can give you my interpretation of what I see relate to that issue. If you'll give me nothing, you're going to have to take what I give you. I don't apologize for that. I mean, that's my point. I don't apologize for that. A good tarot reading is a cooperative sport. It's an interaction between the cards and me as the reader and you as the querent. We have to cooperate. We have to be cooperative. If you're coming down sitting at my table trying to trip me up, you need to just move along. You know, I'm not going to, why would I make up something about your life? Why would I say things I don't see? But, you know, now as a reader who might be worried about this imposter syndrome, think about it this way. You know, you look in those books, you look in the interpretation of the cards, you look online, you don't see one or two words. If you go to, I don't know, somebody who offers online definitions or things about the card, who do I want to say? Somebody. I can't think right now. But you know what I'm talking about. Like if you put in, if you would Google like the King of Hearts, somebody who comes up, and somebody's website will come up and they'll have a detailed explanation about the King of Hearts. Okay? It's a detailed explanation. There's a lot of things. If you would come to my house and look at my tarot journals I've showed you in the past, I have spiral notebooks. I have 2, 3, 4, sometimes 2, 3 pages at least of information that I have journaled on a card. I can't go through that much information in a 15-minute reading, right? If I don't know where to go. I mean, I can tell you a lot about the King of Hearts, but that doesn't mean I'm going to tell you the thing that you want that will relate to you if you're not going to give me something in return. Okay? If you're not going to give me something in return. If there's something in the past that you, in the relationship, in the past position in a reading, that you're having trouble, you know, some of my, like in my Celtic cross spreads particularly, and the other ones too sometimes, that card is in that spread to represent something, a lesson from the past. Either you have to remember that you have learned, or that you maybe never did learn, and you're going to learn it. You got to learn this lesson before we move on. Or it could be something painful thing that's happened in the past, or some memory in the past that is influencing somehow the future. If it doesn't pertain to the reading, it doesn't have any business to be there. So we got to really focus in on what that could be. We got to look at, see, and how that relates. So I'm going to give you a clue of what the rest of the cards are, but you're the only person that knows, as the querent, what that is. I can't read your mind. I wasn't around when something like that happened or whatever. So you're going to have to give me a clue. You don't have to tell me the details, but give me a clue. Before we can move forward, what are we talking about? What kind of a thing are we talking about here? I can give you some options to pick from. But usually, if you're not going to help me, I've got to depend completely on the clues that I'm given on the thing. And I could be a little bit off. But, you know, it doesn't mean that the clues aren't there. It doesn't mean I'm telling you that these are clues. That these are energies that I see in your cards at right time. So in that case, there's really, I have to say, if that's the situation, imposter syndrome doesn't play any part in a tarot reading. It really should not. It really should not. We can only do what we can do. If we were artists, think about it, if we were artists. Oh no, I can even be better than this. We've all watched these makeover shows on TV. Particularly, I want to give you an example. Particularly one where, there used to be one on TV where friends would exchange houses. I'm going to go to your house for the weekend. You're going to come to my house for the weekend. I'm going to make over your living room. You're going to make over my bedroom. You know that? Did you ever see that show? And the person, you know, because you're the best friend, you know what's best for them. You know what they love, particularly you know what they love. So you go and you change, you know, houses for the weekend, and you go out their living room. And you say to yourself, oh, they love blue. I know they love blue, so I'm going to give them blue carpet. I'm going to paint it blue. I'm going to paint the walls blue too. Oh, you know what? The blue sky, it reminds me of country. Oh, the country. And I loved my vacation I took out in Wyoming. And so I'm going to do a Western theme in their thing. I wonder if they like Western theme. Oh, but they'll love it because it's blue and, you know, they'll just love it. And so you do their living room in Western theme, and they come and they're like horrified. Why did you do my room in Western theme? Well, maybe you didn't give them any clues that you didn't like Western theme. Maybe you didn't give them any clues what kind of thing you wanted before they came in and redid your whole living room. You can't depend entirely just on the reader to give you what you want in a reading. If it really matters to you, if you're coming in there and you want, as a querent, and you're coming in there and you want to know what's going on in my life, why is everything in my life going all wacko, I can tell you just generally what's happening from the cards. But if you want a specific question answered, it's up to you to ask the question. It's up to you to say, I am having so much problem at work, I don't know if it's me, if I'm not a good fit, or somebody's like undermining my efforts, or is it a clique that I don't belong in? Okay, you see, that's a good kind of a question to have for a reader. And I can look, oh, I can answer that very well. And I can look for the potential answers, for the potential problems in the reading. But I cannot make the decision. I can't make the decision for you. And that's what I want to say. If you are a kind of reader who's trying to make a decision for your querent, then you very well might be somebody who's going to suffer from imposter syndrome, because you're never going to get everybody's reading exactly right. If you don't have anybody, if they don't have their participation, you don't have their cooperation. If you're trying to read their minds and read the cards at the same time, you're kind of setting yourself up for a fail. Okay, that's just my opinion. If you disagree, I'm welcome for the comments, but that's just my take on the question. Anyway, thank you for watching on this chilly Saturday morning. Sun is coming out now, so I'm gonna end now. So anyway, thank you for watching. I wish you blessings.